Well, hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar on what is the Uni Popshop and how you can get involved. I can see there's a few people on the line now, so I think we'll get started. I'm absolutely delighted that we've got Siobhan Hone with us from the University of Bath, who's going to talk to us all about the University Popshop, when it's taking place and how you can get involved. So if you just bear with us for just a couple of seconds, I'm going to transfer the screen and you will hear Siobhan's voice. Over to you, Siobhan.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining this webinar on Uni Popshop. We are running Uni Popshop towards the end of June, but there's still time if a few more of you want to get involved. We've got a few spaces left. So I thought I'd start off by telling you a little bit about how you can get involved in Uni Popshop and also the history of it. So I know the next slide tells you how to ask questions, and I think Julie is going to be collecting questions at the end and letting you know how to do that. But you can see from the slide we've got the Uni Popshop hashtag up there. So as part of our digital marketing and as part of the team's digital marketing, they're all using the hashtag Uni Popshop. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get towards the end of the presentation. So let me tell you a bit about the history. So this competition started in Bath. We asked the council to give us an empty shop, and Bath is famous for its independent shops, many of which are owned by the council, and we asked them to give us an empty shop and to allow our students to trade for a day in the city centre. So then what we did was we publicised it to students and said, get a team together, we'll give you a £200 loan, we'll give you a local business mentor, we'll ask you to come up with a finance plan, a marketing plan, plus the all-important risk assessment, and we'll let you have a day trading in this shop. So we ended up with 10 teams the very first year we did it. We had 10 days of trading, and each team had the shop for 24 hours. So they would pick up the key from the library on campus, go down into town, set up their shop, and I'd come in the morning quite early and I'd see a completely different shop from the day before. So we had 10 days, 10 teams, and what happened was we allowed the winners to keep their profit. So the winners were the ones who made the most profit, profit being defined as income minus expenditure, and no arguing with me about anything else that should be allowed to be taken into account. So the winners got to keep their profits, and they typically winners made about £400 to £500 profit. So they paid back their £200 loan and then they made that profit on top. Some teams made a loss, but as we did it over 3 years, we got better and better at picking the teams. So the teams had to pitch for the chance to be in the shop. So we got better at it, and we got better at seeing what sort of products we're actually going to sell during that 24-hour period. So we did that for 3 years, and we rolled any profits or losses into the programme for the following year. So we usually made a very small profit ourselves. And what we then decided to do, talking to the students, they had all come a bit blasé about having a shop in the middle of Bath. So we decided that what we'd do is to take this and turn it into a national competition. So in 2012, we decided we'd call it, we just used to call it The Shop, or we decided to call it Uni Popshop, and we invited 5 universities to get involved. So we asked Bristol, Surrey, Southampton, in Exeter, because we already worked with those universities on enterprise education. So we asked them if they'd like to have a team. Obviously we couldn't find 5 shops next to each other, so we decided that we'd go to Spitalfields market. So we decided to turn it into a market competition so everybody could trade on the same day, because we used to get comments from the students that some people had a Wednesday and that was better than having Monday, and I had it Thursday but it was raining. So we thought if they all trade on the same day, then there can be no arguing about somebody having a better day than other people. Now they just argue about whose stall is facing in a better direction, but hey. So Uni Popshop went national. We had 5 universities, and we found that it was very successful, very popular. We asked the students to come up with a digital marketing campaign, because obviously they're only in the market for a day, so how do they drive traffic to their store? They couldn't leaflet the area. They couldn't get down there the day before because none of the universities were based in London, so they had to really work on their digital marketing campaigns. And we had one of our contacts runs a digital marketing agency in London, so he judged the digital marketing campaign, so the students had to come and present on their digital marketing. They also had to have a meeting with the finance people so we could agree the amount of money that they'd taken, the amount of money that they'd spent. We'd go through all their receipts, so we'd make sure it was all scrupulously fair. And the other thing they had to do was a presentation on their digital learning. There are certain rules, on their entrepreneurial learning. There are certain rules with Spitalfields Market. So you're not allowed to sell food. You're not allowed to sell anything that directly competes with any of the restaurants, cafes or shops in the market at the moment. So the people that let us have the market manage the whole of the estate. So we couldn't just rock up and copy something that was already happening. And we couldn't sell food because that might take trade away from the existing traders. So with that in mind, we asked the universities to come up with products that they could actually sell in the market that would add value and interest to the market offering. And we were very lucky in that Bath actually won the very first Uni Popshop that we did, and they won it with a social enterprise called Elephant Branded. Then what we decided to do was to run it on campus. So we decided that actually this was quite popular, but we were only managing to take one team of students to London, and we wanted to give more students the opportunity to do that. So we decided to run a weekly pop-up store on campus in the Students' Union. And what students had to do was apply to have this store. We gave them a £50 loan. We asked them for a finance plan, and we made them do a risk assessment. So they had to come and pitch their ideas to the enterprise staff, and the most successful ones were allowed to trade for a day in the Students' Union. So we let everybody keep their profits. So far they've all paid back their loan and they've kept their profits. So typically profits have been about £150 to £200. So that's worked really, really well. We've had a range of things from Korean sushi to vintage clothing, to arts and crafts that people have made themselves. And the pictures you can see at the moment, on the left we have the vintage clothing. One of our students set up a social enterprise to do with vintage clothing. And on the right you can see another of our students who makes cushions and bunting and cards and lots of kind of small craft items. So she had a stall just before Christmas. You can see the Christmas decorations in the background. As you can imagine, that's a very popular time because lots of people are buying things. So everybody wants a stall then. So we can really have our pick of what's going to be the best stall. So it's worked really well. We also had our Enactors teams selling products from some of the projects that they've been doing. So we've had young people from the local college who've made things as part of the Enactors project, and they've come up and they've taken a stall on campus. So Enactors have run it, but it's been stocked by products that the younger students have actually made. So that's also been quite successful, and we thought that what might happen is that we'd get some students from this weekly Uni Popshop, and actually they could form the team, or they could be the product that we sold in our big Uni Popshop. So last year, because we had so much interest from social enterprises, what happened was we decided to partner with Unlimited. So on the next slide you can see some of the pictures from the universities who took part in Uni Popshop last year. So our plan worked. We got some students who'd been involved in Uni Popshop selling smoothies on campus, and they formed one of our teams that we sent from Bath. We had two teams, and one of them sold recycled products and the other one sold t-shirts. And we decided to partner with Unlimited because we'd been lucky enough to win some Unlimited funding. We had lots of interest from our students about social enterprise, and it seemed to be a bit of a theme that was coming through, and we felt that a kind of bigger collaboration with all the universities involved in that initiative, that Unlimited Hefke initiative, would be a really good thing to do and to pull everything together. So last year in Spitalfields, on a lovely sunny day, as you can see in June, we had 16 university teams all selling products that were either made by a social enterprise or would benefit a social enterprise as a result of the money that they made on that day. So what we do here is we give students a £300 loan. They have to come up with finance plans and stock lists, and we get those checked by Ernst & Young, EY. So Ernst & Young, with whom we partner, give us auditors. So they give us young, some of their younger staff, so they don't give us their top accountants, but they give us some of their younger staff who may be on graduate schemes, and they really got involved. They really enjoyed doing it, and they come along and they look after a team of auditors. We might have 10 auditors, and they will look after 1, 2 or 3 teams each, and they will go through the stock lists at the beginning of the day to make sure none of the teams are bringing more stock than they said. They'll explain to them about issuing receipts to people. They'll run through all the financial procedures, and we'll make sure that they've all got a float. So the students start off at Spitalfields with all of their products displayed. They're all set up, they're all ready to go, and then the market opens and they're off. We ask them to come up not only with a financial plan, but we ask them to come up with a digital marketing campaign. So again, what they have to do is to come up with an idea about how to drive traffic to their store. And they also, last year, they also had to do a presentation on their entrepreneurial learning. So the structure of the competition was such that a team would get together. They'd have to decide what product they were going to sell. They'd have to sort out how they were going to finance it. They'd get a team. They'd get a team together, go to their university. The university would support them. If they had some unlimited funding, they could use some of that to finance their team. There's a special Try It award you can use to get the funding. If you've used up all your funding, then the enterprise areas like mine would have to fund the students themselves. Each university pays an entry fee, which covers all our central costs. So the cost of hiring the market, the insurance, the security on the market day, the clear up, and various kind of central admin costs that we've got. So each university pays us an entry fee, and we organise the rest of the competition. But the universities have to organise their teams and look after their teams. So what's happening this year is that we're asking universities to come up with teams of 3 students and a social enterprise product, so either one that they're making themselves, maybe out of some of their unlimited funding, or it may be from the list that Unlimited have supplied of producers of social enterprise products. We ask them to come up with their digital marketing campaign, and we give them a day trading at Spitalfields, competing for some excellent prizes. The actual structure of how we run the competition, we can show you that on the next slide. So what's happening this year then is that on Monday the 23rd of June, after the market has closed, so there's a market in Spitalfields I think every day now, so after the market has closed, so about 6 or 6:30, we're still waiting for them to finalise the time we can get in there, we hold an orientation. So we say that students have got to be available from that point through until the Wednesday evening. So we do an evening market orientation. We explain all the rules and regulations of the market. There aren't too many. They're all the ones you can imagine about fire and theft and keeping things secure. And we explain about the competition. So Spitalfields is very much a market where people like to come and browse. They don't like to be heckled. There's no kind of witty banter. Well, there might be a bit of witty banter, but there's no kind of heckling and calling out to people. People very much like to come and look, and that's the kind of spirit of the market. So we run through all of those rules, and it takes about an hour. We tell the students where their stalls are. They're all labelled, and they kind of get to know where they're going to be the following day. Then Tuesday the 24th of June, what happens is that the students can set up from 9 o'clock, and trading takes place between 10 and 4. So during that time they have to sell as many of their products as possible, and this is where their digital marketing campaign will come in. Students are welcome to invite alumni, university staff, anybody that they can think of who might want to come to that trading day and support them and hopefully buy something. And then when we finish at 4 o'clock, we'll collect in all of the cash. They're all in sealed bags. The auditors will witness that with the students, and we take the cash away and we keep it in the safe overnight at Unlimited for our auditors to deal with the next day with the students. The students then have a free evening on Tuesday the 24th. We have to be out of the market by 6 o'clock. We have to clear up. Last year I seem to remember there was a bit of extra clearing up. Some teams were very good at that, but some teams left us a little bit of work to do. We clear up and then Tuesday evening is free, but everyone's fairly exhausted. Then on the Wednesday, what we do is we ask the students to come and present on their digital marketing campaign, and they're going to be doing that in the offices of the digital marketing agency, which is next door to Spitalfields in Shoreditch. They also need to send 1 or 2 people from their team to meet the auditors, so they will count up the money, tell them how much they've taken. Often the students are also keeping a separate record, and this doesn't necessarily agree with what the auditors have found when they counted the cash. So we have to tell them that the auditor's decision is final. But usually, once the students have looked through the receipts, they've realised that although they sold 5 items, towards the end of the day, they actually reduced the prices of them to try and get rid of them, and that's why maybe they haven't taken as much as they thought. So all of those things get ironed out, and the student and the auditor agree on a figure. So we then have a figure for the expenditure and a figure for the income. So that forms the basis of who's going to win and where you're going to come in the competition. And then what we have to do is put all that information together, pull it into a presentation, work out who sold what, who spent what, and come up with a winner. And then in the evening we have a grand finale and a prize giving ceremony where we celebrate who's won. So there are a number of prizes that you can win. So you could win the digital marketing prize, and you get to spend a day with a digital marketing agency. You get to meet their team, look at kind of how you could be more creative, look at the campaign that you came up with, maybe where you went wrong, look at the best bits of your campaign, and generally get advice about social media and digital marketing. And that's often everybody's, students are all very keen to win that prize. So if you want to take your business forward, it's fantastic. But if you don't, it's a really good experience to have and a really great thing to have on your CV. You might win the coveted Unlimited prize for the team that best conveys the social message behind, or the social impact and the message behind what they're selling. So Unlimited will walk around the market on the day, question students, look at the stalls, see how things are going, and they'll actually decide themselves who's going to win that Unlimited prize. And again, you get to spend a day with Unlimited. You may be invited to some of their networking events. You get to look at your social enterprise and really work on your plan for driving that business forward. So again, great if you're really taking that product and that business on as a real venture, but if not, fantastic experience to get that insight and that kind of strategic vision from an organisation like Unlimited. The final prize is the prize for the overall winner. So these are the people who've made the most profit, so income minus expenditure. And because it's all being done for social enterprises, we let everybody keep their profits. So the final prize for the people who've made the most money is spending a day with EY and maybe getting to go to one of their fantastic events that they organise. So they organise the Young Entrepreneur of the Year competition, and at the moment they're working on invitations to that. So we're still waiting to hear, but there are lots of things that they've got lined up to try and pull into that prize, and they're just finalising the details at the moment. So let me tell you a little bit about the deadlines. So obviously we've been encouraging people to sign up, and lots of universities have signed up. So we've got people already in this process. So they've already paid their entry fee, they've chosen their team and their product, and they've come up with they've already submitted their final forms that we need, so their risk assessment and their finance forms. We have got some spaces left, so what we've done is extend all those deadlines for new people who want to apply, and we've extended those until Friday the 13th of June. We know that there's not much time, and some of you are doing exams. At Bath, our students went last week, so they finished exams. We've had the summer ball, they've all gone, so that always makes it quite difficult for us to get a team together. I know Surrey are just about to start their exams, so other universities have got different pressures on them, and we will try and be as flexible as possible, but the market want us to send in the risk assessments and the trader registration forms, so we're under some pressure to get those in. So we're trying to squeeze in as many universities as we can, so if you're interested in taking part and you've got a team together or you've got a product, then please give us a ring. The numbers are on the webinar slide, and let us know and we can try and help you. Please remember though that you can't sell food, so please don't ring me and tell me that you want to sell sandwiches or smoothies or anything like that. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about the structure of the team. So we ask you to pull together a team of 3. Sometimes universities say that they have a student who wants to do it on their own. It's very difficult to do it on your own, and you can't physically actually attend the finance meeting, which takes place at the same time as the digital marketing campaign. So we don't feel that the experience that you would get will be as powerful if there's just a single person in the team. Plus, getting there, setting up, having a break, having a lunch break is all too difficult unless you have a kind of a sensible number of people on the stall. So what we've asked is for people to come up with teams of 3. So we suggest that in that, it's a good idea if your students want to develop their team skills. So we suggest that you have a team leader, and there's usually somebody that does want to drive that forward. We suggest that you give somebody else responsibility for finance and the third person responsibility for marketing. You can have other students working on the marketing campaign and helping you out, but on the day you can only send your 3 team down to be on the stall. Again, you could invite other students to come and see what's happening and to support you, but only the students are allowed to trade from the stall, and that's due to the additional public liability insurance that we have to take out and our agreement with the market. Okay, let's just have a quick word about social enterprise. So we've said that there's no real definition. I mean, there are definitions and some are broader than others. And we really don't want to argue with anybody about their definition of a social enterprise or a worthy cause. But what we're saying is that for our purposes, it means you've got to demonstrate a social impact while maintaining a viable business. So that's really what we're expecting of you from that. So as I said, you don't have to actually have a product that's developed by a social enterprise, although that's fantastic if you have, but you've got to be able to demonstrate that it's making some sort of social impact and it's actually a viable business. Let's move on then to thinking about picking a product. So we've got some examples on the screen of products that have appeared in the past. So last year, Jolly Socks from the University of Exeter, they won the Unlimited Prize for best demonstrating the social impact. So that's started by a student called Ed Vickers, who studies at the University of Exeter, and he was speaking to a homeless charity, and he asked them what they felt homeless people most needed. And they said socks. They said that often people will end up with wet or cold feet. So Ed decided to start a business that actually supplied this accessory. Obviously, what homeless people most need is I would imagine, is a home and a stable environment and a job. But in terms of kind of practical things that students could do, they felt that this was an area where they could actually make an impact. So whenever you buy one of Ed's pairs of socks, and you can see that they look quite snazzy, whenever you buy a pair of those socks, a sock a pair of socks will be donated to a homeless person. And they've now, I understand, they've now got their product into John Lewis, so that's a fantastic achievement for them. I mentioned elephant branded, so the very first year we did, when the market wasn't, we weren't specifically running the competition for social enterprise, it was the social enterprise elephant branded that actually won on the day. And I should say that the top sellers in the market on any day are bags, jewellery and t-shirts. So that's definitely something to think about when you're actually thinking about developing your product or choosing a product in order to sell. And if you have ever been to Spitalfields, you'll know that it's set right in the middle of the financial district in London, and the people that walk through that market are all on their way back to their offices in banks and insurance companies. So it's not a kind of seedy market where they're piling things high and selling them cheap. By any means. It's a market that's often staffed by designer makers, so there's a lot of handcrafted products, a lot of artisan products. So it's worth having a go if your students also want to make something from scratch. So a couple of things about picking a product. Other things to think about are having a suitable product range. Now, I said that you're not allowed to sell food. There are a couple of exceptions, unfortunately. I say unfortunately because this means that every day, literally every day, somebody rings me up and asks me if they can sell some type of food stuff. So there are a couple of exceptions. If your product is not for immediate consumption, so the example we've got here is from SOAS, so School of Oriental and African Studies in London. They had a student business called Wonderlust, and they made nut butter. So they made butter out of cashews or Brazil nuts or I can never say that word, macadamia nuts, and they made these delicious nut butters. Now that's not something that you're going to wander into a market and think, oh, I'll have a pot of nut butter for lunch. So we asked the market and they said, okay, as it was a student business, they were making it themselves, they'd already set up the business, it had a fantastic social impact, and they agreed that provided they filled in a very detailed risk assessment, they were allowed to sell their nut butters, which they did. The Nottingham Trent University, which is the other picture you can see on the bottom left, their team was called Notch, and they were, as you can see, they made some amazing products. So what they did, the three girls that staffed that stall, they came down to the market, and the market has different themes on different days. They came down to the market and they watched what was selling. They looked at the type of people that were there. They went around and looked at all the goods and saw which seemed to be the most popular. And they decided that as 80% of that market are workers in the surrounding businesses, and about 15–18% are tourists, and then there's a small number who are locals. They decided that they were going to try and do something that would appeal to all of those people equally, which is quite a tall order. And they came up, bearing in mind that they made all of these things themselves, they came up with a range of kind of iconic London symbols like a London bus or a taxi or Big Ben, you can see here, and they put those onto screen printed onto cushions. They made prints, they had bags, t-shirts, so again two of the top sellers in the market, and they also had a few ceramic products. One of them was a ceramicist, so she made again with these images, she made some fantastic products. Still got my plate downstairs that they gave me. So think about the range of products that you've got. These girls, they won. We also have a very small prize, just a bottle of champagne or non-alcoholic alternative. We had a bottle of champagne for the team that did the best visual merchandising. And they won that prize, kind of hands down. And we all thought that they were going to win the competition, but they invested in too much stock. So had they bought less stock, spent less money on stock, they would actually have won. So it's worth thinking. It's worth thinking about how much stock you've actually got. And I think a good thing to do is always to think about, if you've got 100 products and you've only got 6 hours to sell these products, how many products are you actually going to have to sell by the hour? So think of it like that. The first hour is going to be quite quiet. The last hour, you're closing up, people are going to be going home. Lunchtime is going to be your busiest period, so that's probably when you're going to sell the most. So think about how many things you've got to shift and the ratio that you've got to do that for. Think about your customers, which is really what the Nottingham Trent girls did. They really, really thought about who their customers were going to be. And then the final thing to say about picking a product, you can see on the last slide, we're saying don't forget about packaging and branding. So the winners of Uni Popshop last year were the Royal Agricultural University, and again, they sold one of the products that was one of our exceptions. So we said no food or drink, and they wanted to sell alcohol. Obviously that entailed them applying for a special licence in order to do that. So that had to come out of their £300 loan. They had to go through, had to jump through several hoops. They had to apply for a licence with Tower Hamlets Council. They had to do everything that the market told them that they had to do, and they did it all with very, very good grace, very quickly. And they were allowed to sell beer. Now, they were allowed to sell it because they weren't just buying in a third-party product and selling it. This is actually a product that the Royal Agricultural University sells on campus, and the money that they make from it goes into students' social enterprise projects, So it was actually a business that already existed, that was already happening. The students were very passionate about selling. You can see it's all packaged beautifully, and they weren't selling it and uncorking it, or whatever you do with beer, opening it and letting people drink it there and then. It was something that was packaged up and taken away for later consumption. So it's very important to think about how your product actually looks, how you're going to sell it to people, what you're going to package it in, have you got bags to take away. Think about all of those things. But it's fair to say that with Muddy Wellies, the team from the Royal Agricultural University, they sold a single product. So there might be 3 different varieties of beer, but it was a single product. Sometimes students come and they'll have 15 different products, and that can be quite hard to actually make that look like a cohesive offering to the market. You looked at the Muddy Wellies store and you thought, beer, you know, it's simple, it's nicely packaged. People were buying it and saying they were buying it as gifts for people. They're probably going home and enjoying it themselves, but they were saying they were buying it as gifts, and it was all gift packaged. So the product was centre stage. It was very clear what they were selling, and what that kind of dictated how they set up their stall. So as you can see, it looked very simple. Product was centre stage, and you could easily see what they were actually selling. While we're on that, the next stall just gives you a bigger picture of the Notch girls, the Nottingham Trent girls, and their products. And you can see I don't think you can see the bags there, but you can certainly see the t-shirts with the telephone boxes on, and Big Ben and various other kind of iconic things. So it's worthwhile not just blowing all your budget on stock, but thinking about how you're actually going to dress your store. So you don't need a lot of fancy things, and you can see what Nottingham Trent did was actually use the product as the appeal, as the dressing for the store, and you know that seems like the most sensible thing to do. So they had a very attractive product. They'd made it all themselves, so they could talk about it passionately, and as you can see, it looked very good. So what we did was we asked one of our Bath alumni who worked in visual merchandising for L'Oreal to come around to visit all the stalls and to decide whom he thought deserved to win the visual merchandising prize. And I think the girls were just thrilled to win this, and they were very, 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 very popular winners. Even amongst all the other students, they could really see that, you know, the other students learnt quite a lot from how the Notch girls actually set up their stall. Okay, so if we move on then to thinking about the do's and don'ts of market trading, I don't know if any of you have sold in a market, but there are some do's and don'ts that we ask people to remember. So they're fairly straightforward. It's common sense. The ones that I would highlight, though, if you look at those do's, so apart from being polite and careful with money and keeping things tidy, follow your risk assessment. So a lot of students, Bath definitely included in this, think that the risk assessment is an inconvenience and irrelevant and just kind of, you know, us trying to be take out some of the enjoyment of what they're trying to do. And indeed, sometimes we get risk assessments back and they've all turned into a joke and they've written kind of exaggerated comic things as risks. And whilst that's very entertaining for me, as I have to check them all, it doesn't really help them with their product on the day or their sales on the day. So it's definitely worth thinking about what you've got in your risk assessment. So how are you going to move all that stock? Is it going to be too heavy for you to carry? Most people aren't based in London, so how are you going to get your stock up there? When you check into your student accommodation, have you got somewhere you can store it? Again, we're not letting people sell food, so they don't have to refrigerate things. So that's good because there's no storage facilities at the university accommodation where we suggest students stay. Also think about having clear signage. So it helps if people can see what you're selling as they walk past your stall. Sometimes the students say, oh, we want to be a bit mysterious. We want people to come up and we want people to look, and then we can chat to them and they can feel our products, and then we'll tell them what they are and what we're selling and how much things cost. And take it from me, this hasn't worked yet. I'm happy to be proved wrong, but we haven't yet found anybody for whom that's worked. And in fact, the teams that don't have clearly labelled prices and aren't clear what product they're selling, they tend to take less money. So far, there's always a first time. We ask the students not to be pushy towards the customers, and we do have a couple of mystery shoppers who go around and just check during the day. And there will be competition staff there all the time, checking up and making sure that students are okay and they're well supported. But we make sure that they're not being pushy towards customers. You have to trade from your stall. You can't trade from other areas of the market. And Spitalfields don't allow you to play music or be, that says overtly, but we mean overly loud. Okay, so you have to wait for your customers to come to you, which again is why it's important for your stall to look attractive. Okay, I've said a little bit about risk assessments, just to say that without a valid risk assessment you can't trade. So you fill in your risk assessment, or your team fills in your risk assessment really. You might do it with them and they send it in to me, and occasionally I get one I can just pass straight away, but usually I have to return them. Quite often I have to return them because they haven't filled in the box at the top saying what you're actually going to be selling. And that's vital, so that when I send them to the market people, they can see exactly what's happening. So think about financial risks as well as product risks. Yeah, so you've got a £300 loan, you want to be able to make that back. Last year, about half the teams made a profit. So, you know, it's worth thinking, do you actually need to spend all your money on stock? I mean, normally, of course, yes, of course you should. You should try and maximise your profit. But just bear in mind and think about that rule of how much of your stock you're going to be selling in a day. And remember that we're measuring your profit as the revenue minus the expenditure. Right, a few words about digital marketing and then we're just about done. So digital marketing is about telling your story. So we've got some slides here just showing you pictures of the story of a watch, of a product that goes from making the product through to actually using the product. So last year the teams were very inventive. They did things like they made it onto local radio, they came up with a jingle. Other teams organised online treasure hunts. We're suggesting you use the hashtag Uni Popshop so that the digital marketing agency can follow you easily and get your message out to friends, to alumni, to business contacts, and anyone who might come on the day and support your cause by buying from you. It's also worth thinking about social media platforms. So on the next slide, you'll see that we've got a little exchange that happened, a real-life exchange that happened between a customer and Sainsbury's supermarket. So digital marketing, it should be, when you're using social media, it should be about two-way communication. So you're trying to engage with people. And remember that you're not just trying to be clever, you're trying to turn, well, probably you are trying to be clever, but you're trying to be clever and turn your customers, turn those people with whom you're interacting into customers on the day. You want people to turn up, visit your store on the 24th of June and buy your product. How are you going to get them to do that? All transactions have to take place on the day in cash. So whatever you do on social media, you need to be driving customers, driving people down there to your store so that they can buy things. Okay. If you want to check out our website, so www.unipopshop.com, you'll see that we've got some marketing advice from Ben Gately, who's the founder of the 11 and Born social marketing, digital marketing agencies who are judging the competition. And he's got some advice, we've got some video clips of him. He's got some advice about how you can actually run your digital marketing campaign. Okay, so we're suggesting you pick your channels wisely. So it may be that Pinterest is going to work for you. Everybody always immediately thinks about Facebook, and again, it depends on your product. It may be the best thing for you to do. It may not. It may allow you to reach a lot of alumni and a lot of your friends who can come down. But what you need to do is think about what's best for you and your product, and you need to make sure that you have a plan. Last year, the final digital marketing couple of slides, last year the digital marketing campaigners took a lot of, they were very good at tapping into current trends. So again, if your product lends itself to that, then it's a good idea to do that. And the final thing to say about digital marketing is that you should start now. Ideally, you've already started, but you've got a few weeks left. You've got to present your campaign to the Born Social Agency on the 25th of June, so make sure that you've got something exciting to tell them. Yeah, I can't stress how soon it will be, or how soon is a good time to actually start with those campaigns. So we've got up the original deadlines, and at the bottom there's a little note just pointing out that we've extended all of our deadlines until the 13th of June. So if you want to get a team into Uni Popshop, it's not too late, and we'd very much welcome maybe from teams we haven't heard before. So we'll ask you to do quite a lot of things by the 13th of June, but it's by no means impossible to get all those things done. So we ask you to pay the competition entry fee, which is £500, which covers all of the market expenses and the central expenses that I mentioned. We'll ask you to choose your team. So you're going to need 3 students. They need to be current students. As I've said, other people can help out, but trading on the day needs to be current students. You've got to choose a product, and there are some suggestions on the website from Unlimited. So Unlimited award holders who've got products that they're happy to sell at the market. You may have a team that wants to make their own product. That's what's happening in Bath. No matter how much I try and get them to sell t-shirts, bags or jewellery, they're not listening to me, they're doing their own thing. So you've got to make sure that they've got enough time to do that. And then there are some forms, so risk assessment, finance forms, etc., again, that you'll find on the Uni Popshop website. So we've extended all those deadlines to Friday the 13th. But if you've got a question, obviously you're going to be able to ask me that in a second. But if you want to give me a ring and get me to explain anything, or see if actually the competition is right for you, and if you've got the right students that you want to enter, then please feel free to give me a ring. And our final slide just gives you some contact details. So I'll be in the office all afternoon, very happy to take your calls and see if we can get even more of you signed up to Uni Popshop. The students really love it. They really have a great experience when they're doing it, and the feedback from them is always very, very positive. They learn lots of things that you can only really learn when you actually start doing business for real. So as an entrepreneurial experience, we found it to be very, very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. That was a really, really comprehensive overview of the Uni Popshop, and it sounds amazing. I'm really looking forward to being in London on the 24th with quite a bit of cash by all accounts to spend at the market. So I'm really looking forward to that. If anybody's got any questions they'd like to ask of Siobhan, we can be around for the next few minutes if you'd like to type them into the questions tab, and I can ask those of Siobhan in a few minutes. Just while you're typing those questions in, just to let you know, we have recorded the webinar, and we can also share the recording and the slides with you this afternoon. I can send those over to you via email, so you've got those, so you can listen again and obviously share with other colleagues. We've got 2 more webinars coming up and I just wanted to draw your attention to. So the next one in this series is on the 16th of June at 12 o'clock, and it's about directors and trustees and all that you need to know and all the legal implications. So I'll send the link for you to sign up for that. And then later on that week, on the 20th of June, another webinar on innovating social enterprise, all about strategies and approaches which you may find interesting. So I'm just going to see if we've got any questions at the moment. We've got one that's come through, so I'll just ask this of Siobhan. So the question is, Siobhan, you mentioned that people could have multiple products. Do they have to be from one social enterprise, or could they be from different social enterprises within one university?
Oh, that's a good question. I haven't had that one before. They can be different products, but as I said, if you think about how your store is going to look and the message that you want to get across, it can be harder if you've got more products and they're not connected. So if they're not like the Nottingham Trent girls, they had different items, but they all had a similar design and a logo. Or the beer, where it's very clear what people are selling. So teams tend to do better if they're selling a smaller range of products. But no, by all means, it will be harder to track if the products are benefiting different social enterprises. It will be harder to track what products have been sold, and therefore what percentage of the money needs to go to the different social enterprises. So again, if it's not just for one cause, it will be harder. But if your students are up for doing that, it's just a bit of extra record keeping that they'll have to do. So it's by no means impossible. And if it means you can get a broader range of students involved and benefit a wider range of social enterprises, then yeah, go for it. Great,
thank you. We don't seem to have any more questions at the moment, because I think you just covered everything there, Siobhan. So if anybody's got any questions after we close the webinar, by all means drop me an email, or you've got Siobhan's email address and contact details here. But yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you, Siobhan, for today's webinar. It was very, very comprehensive, and like I said, I'm really looking forward to being at the market in a couple of weeks. And good luck to all the students that participate.
Yes, good luck to them.
Yeah, so thanks to everybody for listening in. Like I said, I will send the recording and the slides out later on this afternoon, and don't hesitate to ask if you've got any questions. But otherwise, we will end the webinar now. Thanks to everybody. Hope you have a good rest of Friday and a great weekend. So thanks again, Siobhan. Thank you. Bye.